Hey, good morning, Facebook group. I'm super excited this morning coming out of Arizona. If you are joining, hey, like if you can drop me a comment, post in there, tell me who you are and where you're joining from. I'm in Arizona this morning, going to talk about toning your painting. And if you don't know who I am Linda Glover Gooch. I'm an artist, painter, teacher. What I do is I encourage you all to get to the easel and practice. So I send out Teaching Tuesday emails. I have a blog. And this week on the blog, what I talked about was toning your painting. And so, hi, Donna from Dallas. Cool. I bet you guys are a little cool. We are a little cold this morning in Arizona. It's about 55. That's cold for an Arizonan. Let me show you. I'm going to show you what last night's sunset looked like. I got a picture on here to just show you what we're doing in Arizona. I have felt for all you people back east and all the cold weather you've been having, but check this out. Look at that. That is last night's sunset here. Is that gorgeous or what? Yeah, and we've had a lot of these beautiful skies. Let me go full screen on that so you can see it a little bit better. We've had a lot of these beautiful skies lately, so that's been really inspiring as an artist, as you guys can probably guess. But anyway, what I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about toning your painting. Like I said on the blog this week, I sent out a whole article and some videos about why do I tone my panel and what is the benefit and is it necessary, which, it's really a personal preference is what it is as far as it being necessary. Some people like to paint on white panels. Some people like to tone. I do have one behind me here that does have a super light tone on it here. I just kept this one really, really quiet. That is the study on that little 9x12 that I've not finished the study, but I'm going to go ahead and start working on the sky on this big one. But you can kind of see where I toned it. And whenever I tone, I use Gamsol and just make a very thin wash. And if you have any questions about toning, feel free to put it in the comment box. And if you're here, comment and tell me who you are and where you're from, because it's fun to see who's turning in and showing up. So anyway, back to the subject of toning your painting. Now that can be a stretch canvas. It can be a panel. It can be whatever kind of surface. It can be a board, all of those things. But why do we tone it? A lot of people have different reasons. All I can really tell you is what is my reason. The reason I like to tone is I love to do what I refer to as toning my panel or canvas and sculpting my drawing. That's what I call it. That's how I teach a lot of my students is I'll tone my panel and then I will do sculpt my drawing. And I love that terminology because it does kind of help me create a little bit of form, very, I guess in a way you could call it crudely, because there's not a lot of detail or anything. It's loose, but it creates this beautiful drawing for you that for me is really inspiring. Like, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to get myself inspired to move on to this painting, right? So that's my whole procedure. Or why do I tone? I tone to help me with my drawing and to get me a little excited, a little inspired, which it does that. And so that's my reason. Hey, if you're tuning in, please drop me a note in the comment box and let me know who you are. I really do want to know who you are. That's I spying into my toning your painting this morning. I actually have a video I'm going to share with you that takes you through the steps of toning, and I'll talk about my supplies too. Now, what I worked on back here was a stretch canvas. Most of the time I'm working on stretch canvases, but sometimes I do like to use the ampersand museum boards. They're very slick. So for this, if you want to call it a technique, or for my approach, it works really well. Welcome, James. James from Illinois. Bet you guys are a little bit cool out there. We are 55 this morning here in Arizona. I checked the weather right before I went online, and still that's a little cool for us little desert people. But welcome to all of you guys that are coming in. So toning is a personal preference. Hi, Linda from Tucson in Arizona. Welcome, Linda. Glad that you're here. So toning is a personal preference. Today is really laid back Facebook. That's what this is about. I'm going to show you a video of me toning and sculpting my drawing. So that's sort of like my process. I'll tone it with whatever color is working in my thought process. Sometimes I'll use a darker, transparent looking burnt sienna or transparent red oxide. Sometimes I'll mix umbers into it. The one behind me that I was just talking about, that is just a really like soft pink. I used a little bit of Cad Red Light and some white and Gamsol, and it's dry right now. And just a very light wash to cover that up. And then I wiped away the parts of the cloud. So that is the study right here. So here is the study that big painting is going to be. Now, on my small panel, I didn't tone this one. I just worked on the white. And a lot of times I want to just work on white. You know, it's just a personal preference. But I'm going to go ahead and get started on my big panel before this one is even finished, just because of deadlines. But I do let this dry. If I'm painting a cloud scene, I do let this dry before I start coming back with my cloud colors. So again, my toning and sculpting my drawing is what I do. Then I draw on with some Vine charcoal, and I'm going to show you those supplies too. I draw on with Vine charcoal, which I love to draw with Vine charcoal. It's soft. You get to hold it in your hand. I like it better than holding a pencil. There's something about holding it in my fingers that maybe is more connected to me. There are times, especially when I'm plein air, I'll draw my drawing on with a brush. But in the studio, predominantly, I almost will always use Vine charcoal. So I draw on with Vine charcoal, which I did here on this, and you might be able to see vaguely some dark lines. I'm not sure if you will with this camera so far away from that, but I'll draw on with Vine charcoal, and then I always fix my drawing with a spray fixative. So I use the Krylon spray fixative. Now I know there's some other brands. Grumbacher makes one, which I've tried it too, but I kind of prefer the Krylon. It's what I'm used to using, and you don't use a lot. I mean, it's like some very light sprays. I've had some students overuse that, and then it can cause like a few problems. For some reason, their paint wasn't wanting to adhere, and I think they flooded the canvas with it. It doesn't take that. And then after I take it outside and I spray it, it doesn't have any paint on it yet, right? I let it set. It dries so quick, which is a great thing about that product, because then you can get to painting or doing whatever you want to do. But I'll bring it in and I'll just rub my hand over the whole thing. And I mean, I've put a super light spray, but it really sets that charcoal nicely. So that is the thing I do. So at first I use my Vine charcoal, and hey, you can use whatever you want to draw on with. I'm just telling you how I do it. All right. That's all. And then I use the Krylon spray fixative to set that painting. Now you can do this on panels and you can do it on boards. Let me grab something while you're there really quick, and I will show you. Let's see. This one is maybe a little bit simpler. So this is a panel here, and I drew on with the Vine charcoal. So now you can see the drawing a little bit better here up close. So I drew this on with Vine charcoal, right? Then I took it outside, put it, on a surface on covered with cardboard underneath, so I don't have that overspray getting on stuff. Then just barely like sprayed it, bam, 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 back and forth, and it just sets this painting. You can see me rubbing my hand over all that. It's not coming off. Now, if I want to use a wash, I can. My drawing stays. Or if I'm not going to do a wash and I'm just going to go directly on with paint, then it's ready to go in that manner too. So I'm going to show you a video. I have a video plugged in here that we're going to watch. It's really quick, 2 minutes or something, but it's going to take the steps of me. Now, this is me putting on a wash and then sculpting away, what I call sculpting away. And I do this a lot. Occasionally I don't, but most of the time I do. So let's cruise on over here, and I'm going to drop this video in and we will watch it. So here we go. You can see my Vine charcoal on there. I'm using a transparent oxide red with some cadmium orange and a little yellow ochre mixed with Gamsol, a very thin wash. You can just see me applying that on there. This is much darker than that one behind me. And I just get that on. I'm using a big bristle brush. Don't use a soft brush. Use a workhorse brush, a bristle brush. And just get it on there however you want it. I'm picking off some little pieces of brush or something with my knife. Sometimes the brushes start shedding. Now I'm using a Viva paper towel, and now this is where I say I begin sculpting the drawing by wiping it away with a paper towel. I'm reading my own script, but that's just because this is a lesson that I sent out too. But you can see me, this scene, and I'll show you the picture of the scene. I forgot to embed the little image of this sunset, but I'll show you a picture of that when we get past this. But I'm just using the paper towel and starting to wipe away where the light areas are in this scene. So this is what I call sculpting my drawing and just working values. It's really a value thing, and I'm going to tell you, maybe my value isn't perfect every single time, right? I may not have it the exact value of the finished piece, but I am working myself here. This is what I'm doing. It's encouraging me. It's sort of a roadmap. It helps me think about my scene. It helps me think about, okay, where are my lightest areas? And how does this feel to me? And I just keep wiping away. And I cut my Viva paper towels in half. But I am going to tell you, I've been having problems with Viva paper towels. They keep changing their product. So the last couple times I've wiped out, I'm starting to use those blue paper towels, the shop towels. They don't seem to leave the lint, and I have to cut them because they're big. Now, look, I added a little more of my wash back in there because I wanted to maybe keep it darker, or who knows why. I'm just feeling my way through this. Keep kind of pulling away where that sunset is. Now, let me pause for just a second. Let me show you this scene real quick because I did forget to embed the image. So there's the image that I'm working on. Now, this bottom part was a different scene. I changed my sky, put this sunset over the top of a Grand Canyon scene in my finished painting, which is totally legal. It's my painting, right? So this scene here was actually a desert scene, but I see sunsets like this over the Grand Canyon all the time. All right, let's go back to the video and pick up where we left off. Now you can see I'm just continuing, kind of pulling out where the light areas are. And again, like I said, sometimes my values might be a little bit different, but really it's a puzzle piece for me. It's just giving me the thoughts of, okay, what is happening in this scene, and gives me a good idea. So there was some light rays, so I just barely kind of start suggesting that by pulling out. It's a great way to do light rays and get yourself the feeling of them. So you feel like, you are aware of what's going on in the scene. I don't know. It's just about inspiration for me and a good starting point. So that kind of gets me, I think, where I feel like I'm pretty happy. I just keep adjusting as needed. If I feel like I need to take more out, then keep pulling light out. I do wear a glove because I'm dipping that paper towel, by the way. I wrap it around my finger there, my pointing finger, and I do dip it into a little bit of Gamsol. It's not a dry paper towel. I do dip it. And then I took just a little bit of light out of where the canyon, the Colorado River down there in the canyon is. You can see me just kind of pulling that a little bit brighter because that's going to be a main point. Now there's my finished painting. Kind of jumped off of there fast. So that was the scene, the actual scene, right? And then here's the actual painting that I finished. And I don't know if that, let me see if I can hit this and get rid of that slide. I don't know if that is showing just for me. There you go. Hopefully you can see that full painting. So see the little light down in the Colorado River area. Remember where I came and I wiped that out? And then you can kind of see the light rays shooting up across that dark cloud. That was my train of thought when I was pulling that away and wiping away. So you can kind of see some of the other areas that I wiped away were this blue sky, or maybe the white clouds out there in the finished scene. Just sort of depended on, how I was feeling. Not everything don't be married to your photograph. Hey, if you're just coming on, give us a post in the comments. Let me know if you like this, if that video was kind of cool, if you thought it was, and if you want to see it again, if you're like, let's watch that video one more time, I can run it. It's pretty short. But let me know if you like this, if you've done this before, or you like this idea, if it looks interesting, and let me know where you're coming from. And thanks for the hearts. Yes, please heart this and like this. It does help. It does help the live stream if people show that they enjoyed it. But anyway, and then as I was telling you about drawing on, like on this one here in the back, let me remove this and come back. So like on this back here, where I was talking about as you can use whatever color you want. I use all different kinds of colors. Sometimes you saw in that video the transparent red oxide. This one behind me has like more of a cad red light, pinky tone. Sometimes I'll do umbers. Sometimes I'll do raw umber, burnt umber. But a lot of times when I do the reds, I do try to tone them just a little bit with a toning factor, which could be any kind of blue. It could be even a little green. It can be an umber mixed into your transparent red oxides or your cad orange. And when I talked about, let me take you back over here to the slideshow. This is what I used in the supply-wise when I was talking about how I like to draw on. Now, I like this Grumbacher Vine charcoal. And if you read that little box there, you can see it. If you're looking on your phone, it might be too little. But I use what's called the Extra Soft. And then the Workable Fixative is by Krylon. And here's the thing. If you want to know more about what I'm doing here, you can make notes of this, or you can go and look at, let me drop this in there, lindaglovergooch.com/105. That's the blog that will tell you all about these supplies. It actually has another video on there that you can go watch. And then it also has a lot more description if you're wanting more description. So that is something to go to lindaglovergooch.com/105. That takes you to my blog that's called Toning Your Painting. I go into more detail. There's another video. It shows the supplies there, and just just more learning for you. Would you guys, does anybody want to see that video again, that you guys that are on? If you're interested, I can run it one more time and we can watch that, and I can talk about it a little bit more if you're interested in that. But again, those are the supplies I use, just like the painting behind me here. I used the vine charcoal to draw it on. Then I sprayed it with this fixative. Super important. You throw a wash over that, it is going to, you're going to lose your drawing. So you can see right here, let me add this back on here, the video. I was trying to get your video running back on here. And because at the end of the video, I show this workable fixative too, I just had paused it and gotten things going. So there you see the vine charcoal. And Donna, you want to know why I choose the wash colors. There's really not any rule to it, why or reasoning. Sometimes it's a sense. I'll tell you this one thing. That is a very good question. The more you do this, the more you will just intuitively think, I want to use a burnt sienna. So the blues in this scene were not real bright blues. This sunset was a toned down, a darker gray cloud. So blue in the complement is an orange tone. Sometimes I'll think in complements. Typically, a lot of people will think complements when what is going to be the complement underneath their scene. So a lot of times it can just be, what is that complement color? So that is why I chose this transparent red oxide. I didn't want to go with a real pale one like behind me, because I felt like I needed a little bit more dynamic dark underneath. Occasionally, some spots will shine through. Occasionally, I'll see little bits of my underwash and leave it. I think that that's a cool thing to do. Sometimes that works really well, to use it as enhancing your painting. But Donna, that's my real reason, the how and the why I choose my wash colors. Really personal preference, mostly. I mean, I could have put any color underneath this. I could have used alizarin under it. Years ago, I used to experiment with like some Viridian greens and things like that underneath, washes underneath. Although I didn't do the sculpting then, I just would put a wash over just to get rid of the white canvas. And that is one reason some people think if they cover the canvas, it gets rid of the white and they can judge their values better. And that's a possibility. But there are times I will just approach a white canvas. It's a mood thing. It's doing something a little different. It just depends on a personal preference. But that's a good question. Thanks for asking that question, because that is one that does come up. And I do talk about that on the blog as well. And I can get rid of that running banner. You guys know where that blog is. It's at the 105. 105, yeah. If you want to go to lindaglovergooch.com, you can go read the blog at lindaglovergooch.com/105. And anyway, there's a different video there. It's not this video that's there. There's a different one completely. Actually, you might enjoy that, Donna. Go watch that at the blog. It's a different video completely. That is, my underwash is an indigo blue. So I did a totally different underwash. And why did I pick that? I don't know. I was working on an ampersand museum board. It's a big painting. It's like a 36 by 36. So I did a totally different wash. So you might want to go watch that one. It's a big thunderhead. You, different different palette than this as well too. I don't know if I can put this let me see if I can put the picture down in the screen. Like I said, I had forgotten to put the photo. Let me see if I can add it smaller. Nope. Well, I have to learn how to use this thing. And so you could see it with the video, but I can't run those both at the same time. But back to where that was, in case you guys were wanting to see that again, that's where, see, I knew in my image that there would be that river down there. So that was why I popped that light and made it bright down in the foreground. So if does anybody else have any more questions? I think that's a pretty good demo there from a previous painting that I did. And it's like I said, toning and sculpting is what I call that. You can read it at my blog. If you're not getting my Teaching Tuesday emails, I would suggest that you do that. You can join the creative journey. You can go to lindaglovergooch.com, and right there on that home page, it says join the creative journey. And what does that mean? When you join the creative journey, it's a little drop down box. It asks you, are you an artist or are you a collector? If you come in as an artist, you're going to get emails from me every time a new blog post comes out. If I'm going to go live on Facebook, when I do my summer sketch giveaways, I usually alert my artist, which is in the summertime. For 3 months, I do summer sketch giveaways where I give away sketching supplies. That's what the Teaching Tuesday is all about. So if you're interested in getting those emails, just go to lindaglovergooch.com. Right there on the home page, there's a little prompt that says join the creative journey. If you click it, you can just send your email in. And you'll get emails from me, the Teaching Tuesday emails that will take you to the blog when new information comes out. I try to create very valuable content for you guys to help you grow on this journey. So that's the whole goal of it, is to help everybody. And it's super great resources, because now that I did this, toning your painting Facebook Live, now you can go watch another separate video. There's actually 2 on there. The second one at the bottom of the blog is a little bit different, but it's still where I go in, I cover, and I wipe out. It's not necessarily a cloud scene. It's actually a Sedona scene where I wiped out parts of the cliff, which, see, you can use this wiping out, sculpting your painting by wiping away. You can use it on any kind of drawing. It works great on cliffs. I use it at the canyon a lot. If you cover and wash an area, you can just wipe out and pull out those sharp edges and really create already a feeling of your cliff edges just with a light wash. And then it kind of gives you, it's a roadmap, and it's very exciting and it's fun to do. So hopefully that is a help, and you enjoyed this Facebook Live. And thank you guys. Before I sign off, anybody got any more questions? Now's the time. Questions one more time. Also, let me take you back to last night. Here we are. This was last night's sunset. Look at that. Is that gorgeous? That is outside my studio door, looking west, obviously, last night. Beautiful skies lately. We have been having gorgeous, gorgeous skies here in Arizona. And you probably know that, Linda, down in Tucson. You've probably been seeing a lot of them as well. But gorgeous skies here in Tucson, and just loving what's going on out there in that sky. So again, remember what I said. Take a look at the blog. the Linda Glover Gooch /105. You can watch another video there. Yes, Linda, you said yes. Great sunsets. Yes, Donna, thank you for joining too. I appreciate you showing up. Thank you guys. Before I sign off, any more questions before I get out of here? I'm going to wait like one more minute because there is a little bit of a delay after you type in the box before it shows up. Otherwise, it's working towards noon, and I have a painting behind me over here waiting. I'm going to get started on that, blocking in. Now, where I'll go, I'm going to start with my dark clouds. I'll get going on that, the dark part, the shadow part. If you've never followed me or seen how I paint my clouds, I do have, let me see if I can cross over to it here. I do have a free outline right here. Get my free outline on clouds at lindaglovergooch.com/clouds. That will take you to a free outline. It's the top 5 key elements to remember when you're painting skyscapes. So that's a free outline that I developed for students so they would have a actual piece of paper with 5 elements to go and read. What does it say? Okay, are my edges soft? Or, looking for the lost and found edges. It talks about the different 5 elements that really help you level up your sky scenes. So if you're interested in that free outline, you can get it at lindaglovergooch.com/clouds. Hit that page, and you will put your email in, and I will send that free outline to you. So that's just another resource to help you with your skies. All right, I'm checking to see if there's any more comments. Thank you guys for coming on board. James and Donna and Linda, thank you for participating. Thank you for the hearts. And let's get to the easel and do some work, right? That's where you're all headed. All right, you guys, thank you for joining me. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. I'll be back. I think my next Facebook Live, we're going to talk about sketching. I think that's what we're going to do, and how to find time for it, and why it's important, and some new updates on supplies, because the marker industry has been moving things around a bit. They've discontinued some things, and I'm a big one on sketching. I teach that a lot in my classes, and like I said, I do the summer sketch giveaway. So in my next Facebook Live, we are going to look at that subject, and I'll probably have a demo for you too. All right, my friends, thank you for joining. Get to the easel. Remember, practice, but enjoy what you're doing. Have fun. Ciao.